In the Pokemon game series, it's widely known that the max amount of Pokemon allowed in the Pokemon party is 6. However, what is less known is that the Pokemon party can actually be expanded up to a total of 255 Pokemon. This expanded party effect can cause all sorts of things to go wrong in Generation 1. One easy example to think of is using Nurse Joy to heal this massive party at the Pokemon Center. And so today we are going to see what happens when all the Nurse Joys at the Kanto region heal the expanded party in Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. Be sure to check out the results that occur later in the video, as they were quite unique and a bit more interesting than the effects from earlier in the video. And without further ado, let me explain how the expanded party is being set up in Pokemon Yellow. The glitch Pokemon Q can learn Super Glitch at level 9 and evolves from 44HY at level 6. 44HY can be attained via the Mew glitch, a special stat of 192. There are many moves that are considered Super Glitch moves. The one that Q learns at level 9 is Hexadecimal C1 Super Glitch move. And like many of the other Super Glitch moves, it is capable of giving the expanded party via massive corruption of the game's RAM. This alters many things, including the Pokemon party, player name, and even the NPC trainers. What's most important is the Pokemon party for this video. Nearly all the time, the Pokemon party cannot be opened once Super Glitch takes effect, and the party usually has well over 100 Pokemon and sometimes all the way up to 255. And finally, another property of the Super Glitch corruption is that it removes the hexadecimal FF Terminator byte. This is what causes the odd glitch tile effect on screen and why Nurse Joy will attempt to heal all the Pokemon in the party, even if it is greater than 6. This attempt to heal the expanded party is what causes the further corruption that we have been seeing. However, in the case of the Viridian City Pokemon Center, it will crash the game. And it is based on the location, so each Pokemon Center has the possibility of giving a different effect. And next up is Pewter City Pokemon Center. On an unrelated note, withdrawing a Pokemon from the PC has the chance to change the music after activating Super Glitch. This has a couple uses, but in this case, it can help prevent a player from getting stuck after getting glitch effects from viewing Super Glitch and Q's stat screen. This effect seemingly cut off the music completely, but activating Jigglypuff's song will make the music return once it finishes. However, what our primary focus is what's going to happen when we give Nurse Joy all of our freaking Pokemon. And like the first time, I had mentioned it here, where the PA will go ding dong, time's up, your Safari game is over. But unfortunately in Pewter City it also crashes the game. But now we're in the Pokemon Center next to Mount Moon. And withdrawing Mew from the PC really changed the music and made it kind of weird. But let's see what Nurse Joy does. Fainted. This guy about his 6 Pokemon, that's the limit? Yeah, right. Yeah, pal, the most you can carry in this game is 255 Pokemon. The counting Pokemon sound is actually kind of satisfying sped up. The Safari PA Ding Dong Time's Up message seems to be a consistent effect in the Pokemon Center. And the game didn't crash this time, but we'll notice the map is loading in a strange way. Opening the start menu or talking to an NPC shows the map intact. This reminded me of an effect from a previous video I did, and it made me want to try again and talk to an NPC. And this is what happened. And it's just like, what the hell? We get one of those glitch text boxes. $255. And eventually it starts to bleed numbers. These are sometimes referred to as glitch concerts, and I try not to talk over them too much because there's some really interesting combinations of sounds in here and ones that I don't think you normally even hear in game. But now it's time to move along to the Cerulean City Pokemon Center and withdraw an Arcanine. And it will play this for us. This one in particular sounds rather somber, if you asked me. But now it's time for Nurse Joy of Cerulean City to speed heal our Pokemon party, the expanded Pokemon party, which has an unknown amount of glitch Pokemon. It says Super Glitch is supposed to give you 255, but I'm led to believe that it's not that much, because usually all those tiles that show up cover the whole screen, but it does not here. And would you look at that? It also crashed the game. And this is what I meant, that some of the effects later in this video are a little bit more interesting than these. The Pokemon Center near Mount Moon was an exception. Let's see if the one by Rock Tunnel is as well. Let's also see what happens once Lapras is withdrawn from the PC. I know that withdrawing the Pokemon from the PC to get an interesting glitch sound really isn't the focus of the video, but it's so interesting, and this one was actually quite catchy. Until eventually it got kind of annoying. The loud humming sound. Like how the gym theme kind of chimed in there for a second. But I'm going to speed this up because you know the drill. Oh wow, I guess we're fighting Nurse Joy now. In a random battle. But it just turns into a glitch text box, unfortunately. No glitch battle. At least as far as I know. Let's see what happens. So is this what happens when you encounter Nurse Joy? The game just goes ta-da, ta-da on repeat? Oh, we finally got some variety, and now suddenly she's a Rhydon. Oh, but then it crashes anyway. How unfortunate. But this is the first Pokemon Center that gives a different glitch effect in Pokemon Red and Blue. LM4 is a glitch Pokemon, index 198. In Red and Blue, it can be used to get super glitch effects because LM4 learns super glitch hexadecimal BE at level 24. And that location in Celadon City is able to give a super glitch corruption that allows you to still open the Pokemon party, which is quite helpful when you want to fly around each of the Pokemon centers. You'll also notice here that it appears that we have a lot more Pokemon here in Red and Blue than we did in Yellow, and that is likely due to the type of corruption we got from Super Glitch. So you'll notice right away we didn't get the PA Ding Dong message, and it gave an effect that Pokemon Yellow Pokemon Center next to Mount Moon gave, which caused the map to load weirdly, and caused some NPCs to have weird text boxes, and other ones to have normal ones. This guy has a weird one, so let's see what happens. This text box also likes to bleed numbers and weird symbols. The glitch sounds that the game decides to produce is quite entertaining. Gave the option for the player to put some input in, so I did that, and it gave some more symbols and glitch text. And a 2 air. Ooh. Still gotta collect all the air codes. But the glitch music kept going, but then we got into a super glitch city in a way, where just a bunch of letters in the background pretty much. But now back in Pokemon Yellow, moving on to the Lavender Town Pokemon Center. No Pokemon better to withdraw than Cubone. And the music we get from this is rather somber, and a little on the kind of eerie side, which is very fitting for Lavender Town. But you'll notice here the Pokemon that are counted is definitely much less than what it was Red and Blue. So it's interesting to note that there is a considerable difference in the party size, it seems. And once again in yellow, it just crashes, unfortunately. And anytime I don't show it from red and blue, it also just crashed. So like the first couple, same deal. But here we are in Lavender Town in red and blue, and you can probably take a guess that something is going to happen here. So let's see what that is. It's like the game turns into an 8-year-old with a soundboard, but instead of memes, it plays glitch sounds from the game. And yes, some of the sounds are normally found in the game, but it's just so strange when they're just randomly played like this. It's also rather comical when it's just playing a simple tune for a good 10-15 seconds and then all of a sudden it unleashes a wave of glitch wave or something like that. Or a glitch trap, just playing a whole bunch of random nonsense. There are times where it seems like it requires a player input, and therefore it'll keep playing the same theme, like for example Cinnabar Island there. But then you click through it and the nonsense continues. And I think another layer of fun from these glitch concerts, as they're called, is trying to decipher where the sound comes from or what it is exactly. Sometimes it's like a Pokemon cry and sometimes it's obvious. Other times it might be like a move sound effect. Other times it's just completely random. You have no idea what it is. But eventually this one just abruptly stops, and then the game just kind of freezes. Nothing seems to happen, even after a while using speed. But the next Pokemon Center is going to be Vermilion City Pokemon Center. We're going to withdraw Gengar, which gives kind of an interesting tune. And our Pokemon are fainting like crazy, just like this guy is apparently. But let's have Nurse Joy heal them and see if that fixes it. And despite her healing a whole bunch, I don't think it's going to. And the likelihood is that it's just going to crash the game. I guess she just heals too many Pokemon and the game's like, oh, overload, and it blows up. It's a real shame that a lot of them tend to crash, but there is a possibility changing the location you activate Super Glitch, the type of Super Glitch you use, could possibly give different effects, even despite using the same location to heal the Pokemon party. But speaking of location, we're going to change that and go to the Celadon Pokemon Center and use Kangaskhan this time. Which started to sound kind of interesting there, but it got cut off by what's normally supposed to happen whenever Nurse Joys heal Pokemon. But we'll get another glitch concert this time, so let's see what it has in store for us. Some portions of these are going to be kind of silly, like this part, where it's just like random beeping and dinging, which I will either cut out or speed through if it lasts too long, or flat out talk over. You might also start to notice that some of these start to sound the same. That's bound to happen since they're all random, coming from the same source, basically just different parts of the game. But this theme here is rather unique and pretty awesome, honestly. It's at least a mashup of the Cinnabar Island theme, the SSAN, and probably another one. There's at least 2-3 different ones in there. There's the horn from the SS Anne. I will say I am trying to move around. A lot of these I'm just standing there, but it's because I'm not allowed to move. I am trying whenever the opportunity comes up. But I guess you could say we're just locked in. Now we are at the Fuchsia City Pokemon Center. I'm going to withdraw a Ponyta, which gives us a rather catchy theme here. And this guy chimes in about we can't just have one strong Pokemon, so I guess we decided to have an expanded party of over 100. More to the point though, let's see what happens when Nurse Joy heals all these frickin' Pokemon. It like half-ass restarts the intro to the game, and then when you press a button it interrupts it and we go immediately back into the game without having to select the file or anything like that. And the start menu is really strange, we'll notice here. And at one point, we get stuck because I must open the party menu for Pokemon. And when you get an expanded party using Super Glitch, it usually always makes the game freeze or crash or have just a white screen like that. That's going to bring us to the Saffron Pokemon Center. We're going to withdraw a Drowsy, which is going to play a kind of catchy tune. It seems like it's all related to the main Pokemon Center theme. Maybe just certain sound channels get corrupted so it sounds different. But we're going to do the whole montage of healing a bunch of Pokemon and speeding it up. And unfortunately this one is also going to crash the game, but that is not the case in Pokemon Red and Blue. Let's see what that has in store. And it seems pretty consistent in Red and Blue that whenever you do one of these healing effects, especially in the Pokemon Center, it does like the corner of the text box B, corner of the text box B, triple C, and there's more of that down at the bottom. Just interesting how that shows up every time. And what I found interesting about this one is that it seemed completely normal at first. Nothing was really wrong or off. Even talked to one of the NPCs, and it seems like the guy that's sitting in the chair on the side over there never gets his text box corrupted. But this woman in the middle did get a corrupted text box. So let's see what it has to say. And would you look at that, more goofy sounds. It got kind of quiet there for a second, so that's why I'm chiming in. I think she turned into a robot. You hear this shit? Is she an AI? It's got a pretty good beat to it, but that's enough of that, because that seems to go on forever. This then will bring us to Cinnabar Island. We will deposit a Doduo, and it completely cuts out the music, which is pretty eerie. Whenever the game has no sound whatsoever, it's so eerie, because there's almost no situations normally where there's no sound. And this reminds me of a time where a commenter mentioned that they thought it was funny that the only time I mentioned the game being eerie or creepy was when the game was quiet. Out of all the other bullshit I've done on this channel, that's the one thing I say it's creepy or eerie. I kind of agree that they got a point. I mostly find the glitch concerts and effects like this pretty cool, like this one we got earlier in Fuchsia City. I honestly just find this glitch effect very fascinating, because I've never seen anything like this. There's times where Super Glitch will do something similar where it'll play the intro, but it won't be half-assed like this or it's interrupted by pressing an input. And where it also bleeds into the screen and it keeps the sprites. Quite interesting. And the odd effect it has on the start menu, the fact that it affects the map too, where we walked out of bounds yet left the Pokemon Center. It's a very odd effect. Play around with it a bit out here. And we also notice the music in Cinnabar is very strange. I actually want to take an opportunity here to check out the start menu now, because it's still functioning. We can move around, you just can't quite see what we're on. That's why I accidentally opened the Pokemon menu earlier. I'm gonna say at this point, we opened, I think, the Pokédex, where it has that color palette, like the red and yellow color palette of yellow. Seems like that persists in all the UI in the game. I guess it could have also been the trainer card too. This effect definitely makes the game seem very weird and kind of broken, honestly. But we're not done with Cinnabar Island, because in Pokemon Red and Blue, with healing here, we also get some interesting effects. So let's see what it has in store for us. And you can probably guess what it is going to do. It will cause some form of map corruption and cause it to load weirdly, as it did earlier, and that is also accompanied by talking to certain NPCs that will cause glitched text boxes, and you know what those come with, glitch concerts. So let's see what it does. Whole bunch of Pokemon cries, but it only gets 4,799,683 Pokemon cries though. That's just a bunch of random numbers that are bleeding through the text box. At first there, it sounded like a computer fan, not gonna lie, and now he's turned into a robot again, just like that woman, playing kind of a silly noise. It almost sounds like the ominous build-up to like a boss fight or something. Huh, nope. That was an anticlimactic build-up to a completely normal theme in the game, but there is an input option there, so we'll see what happens. It plays a couple more sounds there, but then it plays the Vermilion City theme, which is always a nice one to hear. Eventually it finishes with that after a couple more clicks, and then it actually just cuts off abruptly. So it's time to move along to the next one. Now we actually ran out of Pokemon centers to go to in Nurse Joy's, but I guess technically there's one in the Indigo Plateau. And we'll withdraw a pincer here, and this will give us a pretty dope sound, honestly. And it kind of shows that it is based off the music that's supposed to be there. It sounds a lot like the music that normally plays at the Indigo Plateau. Also, need to mention that this should be all the Nurse Joys in the game. There could be one more in theory, if you count the one that resides in like the bedroom area in Silphco on the 9th floor. However, that's something different, so I'm not going to count it for this video. But that's enough of that awesome theme for now. Let's see what's going to happen here. It does bring back the normal music, and it brings that same message we've seen every time in Pokemon Yellow, but this one definitely was one of the most interesting effects in this video. And at first it was really strange, because it looks like there were some parts of the map that were moving on their own. Like grass tiles in a way that were animated. But it turns out we ended up in Mount Moon of all places. It's actually very interesting to see that first time. But it was very disorienting to just randomly end up in Mount Moon like that and fell down a ladder apparently, and then finally got an idea of where to go. And so we're gonna actually leave Mount Moon, see what happens. And strangely enough, we come right back out the Indigo Plateau. But let's see what it does in Pokemon Red and Blue. Yo, what's up lady? Come heal my 255 Pokemon or whatever. Gotta take on the Pokemon League. Nah, I'm just kidding. I wanted the game to explode. But funnily enough, that's not actually what happened here. All that happens is we get locked in, some of the sprites on the screen disappear, and we get this really dope theme, in my opinion. It goes kinda hard. But with that, I'll leave you with this Poke Trap-like theme. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for making it this far. If you'd like to see creepy sounds and glitches of Pokemon Yellow, check out this video here. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time.